Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I told you guys that we'd get back around to this old Robin generator that's from back in like 1988 or 1987. I took, if you don't remember, or if you're new to the channel, last year and a half ago or something like that, I took all this apart and I replaced as much as I possibly could on this. And I did not have, the carburetor was rotten on it. I pulled the tank out of it. I had put a new line with a shutoff valve, so if I needed to service it, I could service it. I put that shutoff valve there, cleaned out the carburetor and stuff, pulled everything off of this and did everything that I could to get the electrical panel back together, check the spark plug on it, get everything going that I possibly could, and I had it running like a top. But this thing had sat for about 4 or 5 years, and it has, let's see here, 809, what is that, 809 hours on it? Yeah, it's 809. And this thing had sat for years, and we had a storm come probably 5 or 6 years ago. Probably more than that. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And the power went out when I was living out in Rockford, Illinois. I lived in a real crappy part of town where there wasn't a lot of town service and stuff like that. If there was, you know, natural disasters and things like that that happened that took out power or whatever. And eventually power came back on, but the water was just absolutely crazy with the sump pump. It was just filling up and filling up and filling up and filling up. I couldn't get no power, and I didn't have battery backup, and I was renting a place at the time. So I jumped on Marketplace, and is there a Marketplace or Craigslist? I forget where, before they took away Craigslist. And some dude had this on there. It's a 25 or 2400 watt. It's a Series W power guard portable generator, and he said it hadn't run in a while, but if somebody wanted it, they come pick it up for 150 bucks. I went and picked it up for 150 bucks. I spent about an hour and a half going through it, and I just barely got it running. It was running like crap. Well, about a year and a half ago, I think it was anyway, I'd have to go back and look on the channel, this generator, it's an EY20 series. I went through it. I kind of did some stuff here on the channel. I went through it, refreshed a lot of stuff, and I got it running like a top by the time I was done. But I've been waiting to put, there's a filter assembly I have sitting around here somewhere. I was starting to freak out there for a second because I couldn't find this. And everybody was telling me, you ain't going to find that filter. You ain't going to find that filter for that generator. Well, I went on Amazon, of all places, and I searched for hours. And I found a Chinese manufacturer that still makes the OE style cover that goes right there in that carburetor. I'm going to put it on there. And if you're looking for this part number that's sitting on his filter, it says Robin EY-20227-3261. And it's got all those other numbers. Again, I found this on Amazon. Let's see if I can hold it a little bit more steady for you guys. Anyway, we'll get this put on here. And there it is. My filter's on. I haven't started this thing since last year, and I put it away with you guys. I just left the original base on there instead of putting this one on there. Now, with that being said, I'm going to try to fire this thing up right now without doing any kind of crazy to it. What I did before I parked this thing is I purposely cleaned out this gas tank and I ran it out of fuel purposely. Can we go ahead and check the oil real quick? It's got fresh oil right on the dipstick. Might could use a tad bit more. I see it down in there. It ain't bad. It's actually, it's on one side, but it's not the other. Might be able to use a little bit more. I just put a smidge in it, and we're full now. So, go ahead and put the dipstick back in. I don't put about a gallon of fuel in it. I might have a little bit of a fuel leak right there because I see fuel on that. Let me check that out. I'm doing some modifications to the tank real quick. I found a grommet that will work, but it's a little bit bigger than the factory one. The whole center hole's not, but the hole where it goes in is, so I got to modify that to get it to work. In the meantime, we can look over at this thing. This is a STIHL. It says it's a 3YY or 311Y, and I believe this is old as hell. This is I got this at a freaking estate sale after an old man died. I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's how I ended up getting this. Yeah, it was an estate sale and it didn't run. Okay, so this is the next morning after I've let my repair. I had to use some epoxy JB Weld with that seal because I cannot find the right one for it. So anyway, let's see if this is gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work. New filter is on. Choke. was now. It was the fuel line wasn't quite situated properly. I had to bend the fuel line down a little bit more so it was lower than where the inlet was. Really, that tank needs to be raised about an inch in order for it to flow properly and not have to come up. It would have to at least meet even. But when I took the line and pulled it down, all of a sudden it started to stabilize at the RPM because it was getting adequate fuel properly. Anyway, I have got to... It's a little bit cloudy. I got to get a vacuum and stuff in it, and I got to get the filter cleaned out for the pump, because I noticed the pressure on the pump since the last couple rains went from like 7-8 psi all the way up to like almost 17 or 18. The filter's gonna have to be cleaned out so this thing can pump efficiently to get all the cloudy debris out of there from the rain. Anyway, it's a generator video for the morning. I think today what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that that fuel tank up about an inch, put some longer bolts in it so the transition of fuel to the carburetor is much easier. That's all I got for you guys this morning. I appreciate you. Sorry this is not the typical morning video, but it's something that's going on in my life. So have a great day.